Hello everyone, this is Vibe with Viv. I hope you're doing well. Happy 2019 and welcome to this new season of life. So today we're going to be talking about starting over. A lot of things happen in life, my life, your life, the world, that we just feel like we have to start over, whether it's emotionally, mentally, physically, relationship, a passing away of a loved one. We get to a place where we need to renew our minds and be able to move forward. And today we're going to be talking about starting over and the process that I use to start over and how you can implement these steps in your life as well to help you to starting over. So the one thing in life that is constant is change. Whether we like it or not, change will always occur. But what we can do is control how we respond to this. And I like to start this process by reflecting. I reflect on what role I played in the situation, the role another person played, why the situation or circumstance occur. And I begin to reflect by journaling. And I actually have my journal right here, which I use. And I usually use when things are going on and I can't process through it, or I just need to talk about it in a different form. I will journal about the process, the things that occurred that are out of my control, or things that I may have played a role in it. But journaling allows me to get my thoughts out in a certain way that is maybe difficult to tell someone, especially when the situation is still fresh and I'm not ready to talk about it yet. And then another process I like to do is whether it's going for a walk or jogging. During these activities, I'm reflecting through this process of the role I played, the situation, what could have been done differently. And another thing I like to do is pray. Prayer is so key to me in my healing process and starting over. It lets me be real with who I am and be real with the situation and face it face on. And it just puts me in a place of peace and reassurance. So I would definitely incorporate any of these three things in the initial process of starting over, because once you get clarity, you can begin to forgive yourself. You can forgive yourself, you can forgive the other person, forgive the situation, and just start to heal from the process. So this brings us to the next process, which is forgiving yourself. After you come to a place of reflection and clarity, you can begin to come to terms with the situation that happened. And I just want to start off by saying that things happen and we're not perfect. I'm not perfect. You're not perfect. Life isn't perfect. So just remember that as you begin to forgive yourself, that things are out of our control, but you can have the control. So forgiving yourself is honestly a mental process. You have to mentally decide that you're not going to let the situation keep you down. You are going to move forward. So it's a mental decision and it's a mental act. And honestly, time plays a huge role sometimes in this process. So it's okay to give yourself time. Maybe you need time just to sit down and reflect. Maybe you just need a little time to cry. Maybe you need time to be surrounded by loved ones. You need time just to pass by and let this process go, the thing that occurred go. So give yourself time. It's okay to have time to heal and to forgive yourself. And another process step is just surrounding yourself with family members or a small group, just things and activities that bring out the best of you, that uplift you, and that are encouraging and supporting to you. So just remember these things as you begin to forgive yourself. You're not perfect. We're not perfect. Things will happen. Give it time. It will go by and it will be a healing process for you. And surround yourself with uplifting people and activities that help you be a better person and helps you mentally. So this brings us to the next step, utilizing God's promises. So when things happen, relying on our own strength is sometimes a difficult thing to do. And it's hard to just rely on your own willpower to start over, to heal. But I've come to learn that relying on God's promises and God's strength really helps me to move forward and to begin healing. This reminds me of the book of Job, if you're familiar. He lost his family, his wealth, his manhood, his pride. And in that time, he blamed God. He blamed God for the things that happened to him and his life, and he wished he wasn't born. And I want to say, if you're in this place where you're blaming God or you're blaming other people for things that may have happened, that's okay. It's really okay. We are human beings. We are meant to experience emotions and be angry and be mad. But the biggest thing is to not let it keep you there. A lot of times the enemy of this world, Satan, wants us to believe that God is the one who is causing all our problems or for things to go wrong. But that's the devices that he uses for us to turn our backs on God, to blame him for the things that happen and just forget about him. But that's not who God is. God's a beautiful God. He's merciful, and he reviews your strength, our strength, every day. So do not let that lie get into your head and you begin to just blame God and be mad at him and turn your back on him for things that may have happened. So I like to renew these thoughts in my mind by using God's promises. So some of my favorite Bible verses, first one is Philippians 4:13, which says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. And then the next one is Ecclesiastes 3, verse 11. He has made everything beautiful in his time. And the next one is Deuteronomy 31, verse 6. Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid or terrified because of them, for the Lord your God goes with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you. So I like to meditate on some of these Bible verses and other ones when I'm going through anything or a point where I just need healing or starting over, and renewing my mind with these positive words and standing on God's promises that his word is yes and amen. He will never fail me. He will pull me out, and he is my strength and my rock, and there's nothing too impossible with him and for you. So I stand with you on these verses as well, that you can overcome whatever you're going through, and you will make it, and you stand on God's promises as well. So this brings us to our next step, which is positive words of affirmation. So as we begin to heal and start over, it's not unusual for negative thoughts to start running through our mind. We rethink the things that happen and start blaming ourselves or others. We begin to feel like we're healing, but yet we revert back to where we were before, almost feeling like we're starting over. I just want to let you know that's okay. That's part of the healing process. And a lot of times these thoughts run through our mind. We'll have racing thoughts. And I've just learned to come to a place of learning how to capture those thoughts and have control of my mind. And I've done this through using positive words of affirmations. Initially, doing this may sound weird, or it may feel like it's not working or it's hard to do. But with consistency, you will see results. So sometimes I feel like maybe I'm not good enough, or if I'm taking on a new activity, I feel like my skills aren't up to par, or someone else may have better skills than me. And I really have to sit there and say, no, like, you can do it. Like, I can do it. So just replacing those negative thoughts with positive words. You know, if someone lied to you or failed you, just replace those thoughts with, not everyone is going to backbite you, you know, and you do have loving people around you. So utilize positive words of affirmation to replace any negative thoughts that may come back to your mind, that brings you back to a place where you were at before in life and you're trying to move forward. It may be tricky, but with consistency, you can do it and you will see results. This brings us to our last but not the least step, which is don't stop dreaming. When things occur, sometimes the easiest thing we may feel to do is to give up, to be like, well, this happened, it's done, I'm just going to ignore it and not care about it and pretend it didn't happen, pretend like it doesn't affect you, or just let it keep you down. That sometimes, to some people, that is the easiest thing to do. But doing that is not going to be effective to yourself, to your well-being, to your growth, to your future self. So don't let that keep you down. Don't stop dreaming. Don't stop envisioning a better version of yourself, a better life for yourself. Utilize these steps of reflecting, forgiving, using positive words of affirmation, and standing on God's promises to keep dreaming. Think about your future self and the things you would like to do, how you can pay it forward, how you can utilize what you've experienced to make a difference in other people's lives. So don't stop dreaming and don't let it keep you down. There are bigger things that are yet to come, and you have the ability to start over, to start afresh, and to make a change where it's needed. All right. So I just want to thank you all for being part of today's conversation. If you have any other things you would like for me to talk about, comment below and I'll be taking a look to make sure I reach out to you and we can talk about some of those things. And if you'd like to follow me on Instagram or Facebook, the link will be below. And thank you. I appreciate you. You can do it. Don't forget that. And thanks for vibing with Viv. If you are ready to take the next steps to achieving emotional healing in your life, click on the link below to schedule a free one-on-one session with me. I am looking forward to speaking with you.